How are we doing? Welcome to Tuesday Live around female health. So this Tuesday I'll be focusing on, or here I can say, heavy periods, focusing on heavy periods, the reasons why you can get heavy periods, things you can do around your diet to help with heavy periods, and other things to look out for in terms of having a more detailed conversation with your doctor. So let me know how you're going. If you're on the StreamYard, leave your name, give it permission so you can join in the conversation. So you can pop any questions in the chat, and I'll give you guys a few more seconds to join me, and then we'll get right into it. I've had to switch my dishwasher off. I never thought about it. I put the dishwasher on, and then I thought, oh, I'm going live. So I've kind of stopped it, but I don't know if it'll make any beeping noises. So apology if that happens. So in terms of just a bit about me, so my background, what do I know about female health? I'm actually a trained female health and performance coach. I'm also a female, so therefore I have had a lifetime to date of period challenges, period health challenges, which, as you know, when they go to the GP, they'll give you birth control. And when you can no longer take birth control, they're kind of like you're on your own. And luckily, I at that time was getting into health and fitness, so I've managed to change quite a few of my symptoms and resolve a few of them. And obviously now approaching perimenopause, things are changing slightly, but I'm able to dig in and look at what's happening in my body, what are the things I can do around it, around natural supplementation to help with those symptoms and ensure that I'm kind of fueling my body and setting myself up for a healthy, happy life as I go through that perimenopause, rather than giving into, the doom and gloom of always being in pain, having to put on weight gain and all that stuff that you hear people saying, oh, it's just part of it. It's just part of it. But you don't have to settle for those things. There are things we can do naturally around our diet, our health, and take control back ultimately. And that's part of my mission, is to help other women take control back of their bodies, whether it's about the weight, whether it's about feeling healthier, eating healthier, or finding, oh, these symptoms are actually taking over my life a bit. What can I do about them? And that is my aim, to help as many women as possible live the life of quality. Alrighty, so let's get into it. So in terms of why you may have heavy periods, there's a number of reasons. Heavy periods can be caused by PCOS, so polycystic ovary syndrome, and I know there's a number of different types of that, and it can take quite a long time for people to get diagnosed on it. But you might be someone who has been diagnosed or going through the process of getting tested for it. It can be like, female health, all things female health with the GP. It can take a while to get that diagnosis, but that can be one of the reasons. It could also be if you were like a teenager, being a teenager, and your period never got a chance to mature. So what I mean is, we start our period, say 14, and you've got issues around cramping, the doctor straight away, bam, puts you on the pill. Therefore, your period never gets time to mature. So when you come off the pill or any other kind of contraception, you're then got your periods trying to mature. So it's a communication between the brain and the ovaries, and it's trying to figure out, what does this look like, trying to mature into the flow. It takes 10 years for your period cycle to mature. And like I say, if you get put straight on the pill at a young age, then it's never had time to mature. And then that's why if you come off the pill, it can feel like the periods are a bit heavier, because you're having to give your period time to mature. And like I say, that's a process of around 10 years. And then the other big thing that's impacting me right now, and many of you, is around perimenopause or second puberty. I know I've worked with lots of clients who will talk about how heavy their flow was during the perimenopause stage, to the point that it was almost quite kept them confined to their homes, and they didn't want to go out and about because they didn't know when it was going to come, and it'd be like an absolute flood, which obviously isn't ideal if you were in the office or out in public. So it can be quite dramatic for a lot of people, and that's one of the reasons I want to touch on this, because it is that thing about being able to live your life and not being restricted. So I want to share a few things you can do to maybe help around that if you are experiencing it, or if you're going for perimenopause and that's something that may happen. And another reason is a medical problem such as thyroid disease. So that's something where it's worth going and getting checked out at the doctor. And what I'd say, so first few days of your cycle, it will be heavier. Your period will naturally be heavier. But if you're finding you're super heavy with your period, then I think it's worth going and having that conversation with the doctor to say, what's happening? What is going on here, because I'm having super heavy periods, and whether this is the norm or whether you've had it for years and it's restricting your life, I would say it's worth going to the doctor and having that conversation. And like I say, it can be due to a number of conditions, such as PCOS, as mentioned, endometriosis. So lots of different gynecological reasons. So it's definitely worth having that conversation. But fibroids are normally, if you've been confirmed as having fibroids, they're not normally a reason for heavy flow. So it's more likely to be something else like thyroid disease, PCOS. I've added extra S there, but yeah, some other medical condition. So please do have the conversation if you find that heavy periods are taking over your life. And especially, as I say, things like thyroid disease, it's not something we can kind of play around ourselves. There are natural treatments to correct thyroid autoimmunity, but again, you want to go and get tested for that stuff. And for me personally, I wouldn't, take iodine supplements and be playing about with that myself. I would want to go to the doctor, get thyroid tested for autoimmunity and things like that. So things that are really playing about with your biological system, I would say anything thyroid, don't touch it yourself. Go and seek medical advice on that. Or if you suspect you've got any of the conditions that I've just mentioned, again, go and have the conversation. And if you're not sure how to have the conversation, check out Lara Bryden's book. She has a great book. I've referenced it a lot. And she has questions in there for you to go and have that informed conversation with your doctor. All right, but let's just say all those things, you don't really feel like you're in that place of having to go and have the conversation with the doctor. And then one of the things you can do is around diet. So I mentioned about thyroid. Again, thyroid is something you want to go and get checked out at the doctor. But things that you might want to try yourself, say if you don't feel like you're in that place where they're super heavy, or if you're going through perimenopause and you're noticing they get a bit heavier, then one of the things you can do is avoid cow's dairy. Now, I spoke about this recently in terms of having breast pain and the histamine reaction of the A1 protein in milk is thought to cause breast pain. And this was something I had in my younger years. So I was like, oh my God, this is coming back. And being a group fitness instructor is one of my many roles. And jumping about is really uncomfortable if you've got heavy sore breasts. So one of the things that I actually did was remove cow's milk, and you'll see in my posts. So I've been switching to goat's milk, and I don't have a massive amount of milk, but I have to say it has made a difference. So in the last couple of months, I was getting to that point of 2 weeks in a month having breast pain, which is quite a long period of time out of your life to be uncomfortable and not feeling great. So it's been 2 months now switched to goat's milk, and it has made a difference for me. And that is also meant to help with the heavy periods. So all of this is basically a histamine reaction to the A1 protein. So it's just like hay fever ultimately. So to break it down, it's a bit like having hay fever, but actually within our body causing our heavy periods or breast pain. So first thing you can try is avoiding cow's dairy. And like I say, you can switch to goats and sheep milk. Goat milk is actually quite accessible. It's in most of the supermarkets like the Tesco, Metro, Waitrose, and it's not massively more expensive. And if it's going to help you with heavy periods, it's going to help you with breast pain, then quality of life is definitely something to try. And you can still have butter too, because that doesn't have like the A1 casein in it. Another one you can do is around turmeric. Now, quite a lot of turmeric supplements have been popping up because again, it's that thing, it's anti-inflammation. So they're a good one to take to help kind of relieve period pain, endometriosis. Again, look at the quality of the turmeric powder you're getting. Is it pure turmeric or is it combined with something else? Really look at the quality of that. Personally, I just take my turmeric as turmeric tea. But like I say, you can get supplements. So if that's something you want to give a go, and it can help reducing basically the pain and discomfort of period time, then by all means give it a go. Something that's helped me has been a zinc supplement. 15 milligrams of zinc really helped me with my cramps. Next up is around iron. So it could be that you've got an iron deficiency caused by the heavy periods. And it's that thing, it depends how heavy and for how long. And again, iron is a supplement you can take, it's readily available. But again, it can go either way. It can cause you to maybe have a bit of diarrhea, or it can cause you to be a bit constipated. So it can go either way. So the kind of recommendation is 15 to 50 milligrams of iron. And you can get iron in food. So you can get it in red meat, you can get it in eggs. But if you were taking turmeric and iron, have it at a different time, because turmeric can actually prevent the absorption of iron. And dairy can also inhibit the absorption of iron. So if you're taking an iron supplement, take it separately to if you're on cow's milk, take it separately to if you're taking a turmeric supplement, take those two separate because it can inhibit the absorption of iron. But again, with the iron, I'd listen to your body. If you're feeling super low energy, I had a client, he was actually a male client, and he was just finding he was quite fatigued. He was really struggling to do his training more than before. And he thought it was because he was just getting older. He put it down to getting older. And he went to the doctor and said, I'm really flagging, I'm fatiguing, I'm struggling. And the doctor done a test, and it turned out that actually he had an iron deficiency, despite the fact that he eats super healthy, he's getting all the good nutrients in, and he still had an iron deficiency. And that is because I've talked before about soil deprivation. Like, our soil isn't got the same nutrients that it used to because it's been getting stripped bare of generation. And it's that whole thing about actually quite a lot of us have got deficiencies in different vitamins and minerals now because it's not the same as what we used to, our grandparents got. So I would say, again, iron supplementation, again, it's one you can play about with yourself, or if you're feeling super fatigued or you feel like you're not really recovering from your training as you once used to, definitely go to the doctor and have a conversation around it. All right, so that's what I want to cover off. So if you think about those 3 things, avoiding cow's milk, go for the goat's milk. You can go for the sheep's milk as well, but like I say, goat is more available. I've certainly found it helpful for me with breast pain, but it can also help with heavy periods too. Turmeric, that thing of anti-inflammation. Again, you can have it in a tea like I do, or you can get supplements, but look at the quality of the supplements. Iron is another one, like you say, 15 to 50 milligrams of iron, but again, just be careful on that one because just notice the changes in your body if you experience loose bowels, if you experience constipation. And again, if you're feeling super fatigued, think about going to doctors and getting tested for the iron deficiency, like my client that I just mentioned. Alrighty, and then like I say, many of the causes. So if you feel like you're super heavy and in terms of your periods, super heavy, and you feel like it's starting to take over your life, don't lock yourself in at home, but go and have the conversation with the doctor, because there are other things that they can do around that, and they can investigate and look at it, and no doubt they would test your iron at the same time. So they can look at different things around kind of progesterone for heavy periods, and things like they might prescribe Advil or ibuprofen. So there are other things they can do at the doctors around your heavy period. So ultimately, don't suffer alone. Some of those things may help you. If you feel like your period is not that heavy, so it's not big an issue, but you just want to try some of those things, then please do, but always look at the quality of the supplementation you're buying. And again, if you're not too sure, you might be borderline, whether you should actually go to doctors and have a conversation, pop on Lara's website, pop on go and buy Lara's book, and she'll help with that conversation. And you might be like reading your symptoms and go, that's me. And in terms of thyroid disease, it's one where I kind of hear quite a few women put down to their weight gain of being on their thyroid. They're like, oh, my thyroid's underactive, overactive, whichever one it is, and I've got to put all this weight on. Well, it may be valid, but it may not be. But again, before you start looking at kind of iodine supplements, I go to the doctors and kind of just have the conversation. Have a conversation about what's bothering you, what are you experiencing, and then they will do the tests off the back of it. And then you can come up with a plan in terms of what's going to work for you. All right, so that is it around heavy periods for today. 3 things for you to try. 4th one is, like I say, please go to doctors if you feel like it is taking over your life. Like I say, perimenopause, it is very common for people to have heavy periods, but things in there that we can change in our diet that could help with that. And then just tune in. You know what I say? Always, if you're going to add something to your diet, change something, takes 2 to 3 months for that to take impact. So just tune into it, connect with your body, and see how that feels for you. Any questions around anything to do with heavy periods or female health, drop me a note. And I hope this is useful for you. Hope this is useful for you and me. And maybe something that I start doing when I get closer to my perimenopause. I'm in it now, but as I get down the years, things keep changing. I definitely feel that. I don't know what you feel, but yeah, I've managed to get the kind of breast pain under control. But yeah, you definitely feel the different symptoms. Like for recently, I've been getting jawache around that. So I'm going to see someone on Friday around that, because we've got estrogen receptors in our jaw that can cause jawache just before our period. So yeah, as we go through the perimenopause, things are going to come, things are going to go, but it's really getting that knowledge and finding out what we can do to help ourselves with those symptoms as we go through this stage, this next chapter of our life. All right, let me know what you'd like to hear more on about female health, nutrition. What are you struggling with right now? What are the things that you're like, I've got this feeling going on, I'm not too sure what to do about it. Drop me a note, let me know what you'd like to hear more about. Take care, keep looking after your health, and I'll catch you again later.